What's going on, everybody? I am Bryan Tann, and this is another edition of Tann Talks. What's going on, everybody? I am Bryan Tann, your host of the Plotaholics Presents Tann Talks. Joining me as always as we talk The Mandalorian and anything and everything Star Wars. I'm joined by Madam Salad Ass herself, Katie Salidas, and of course my running buddy. Well, new to y'all, but not to us, Melinda D. Mel, what's going on?
I feel like I left my glasses downstairs. I feel like I'm the only one not in the Cool Kids Club right now.
Yeah, that's what you get. Yeah. 30 years ago, it was like, oh, you're wearing glasses. You're a nerd. Yeah, nerds are in now. Revenge of the Nerds!
Now it's like, oh, you're old and you can't read your knitting patterns without glasses.
Oh, don't say it like that.
Yeah,
no,
that's horrible.
That's me. That's not y'all. That's me.
Yeah, but that's really just hitting all the old tropes. Knitting, can't see. I mean, next thing you know, you're only going to be able to knit for 5 minutes because of the arthritis.
Oh.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, but...
Oh, damn. Strike 3. Youth is out.
I'm out.
I will say this, though. You want to talk about feeling old. You know how we've had those discussions about how my hair doesn't grow on the top and I'll look like Kimbo Slice if I don't shave my head? Well, some of the little fuzzies were coming in the other day. All of my top of the head fuzzies are now gray. My top of the head fuzzies are gray. I'm like, holy crap. I would look like a freaking skunk. I'd look like Kimbo Skunk if I let my hair grow in. Oh, it's good, though. It's good. It's good.
You know what else is good?
What?
This week's episode.
This week's episode was great. I'll tell you what, everyone that's watching this now, as of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, March 30th, 7:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific, depending on how you speak. Feel free to join in on the conversation. Hit us up in the comments if you have anything that you want to add in, because, hey, every now and again, conversation helps things go on. So if you want to add to it, by all means, get in with us. And make sure you get on the Plotaholics Podcast YouTube channel, because we're coming out with a lot of content. Melinda and I are doing we're doing Winchesters right now. We just dropped episode 1 of our reaction to the Winchesters. Not a glaring bit of joy. Little scathing. It was hard. It was hard to throw shade at the Winchesters but it's there. Once we're finished with The Mandalorian, the three of us are going to be talking Firefly, which is going to be cool because I've never watched Firefly. So it's only 20 years late for me, but that's okay. I'll take it. But I'm also diving into more Nathan Fillion because right now Sharon and I are binging Castle, and we're about to finish season 2. And the sexual tension between Castle and Beckett, you can slice that with a chainsaw, and it still wouldn't be enough. You would need a Beskar chainsaw to cut through that sexual tension. And I like it a lot.
Oh, you got to read the books.
I will. No, actually, once I have the spare cash, I have every intention on getting all 6 of the audiobooks.
I don't even know who narrates them.
No, don't care. It has Richard Castle on it. That's all I care about. It could be Pips farting on a snare drum for all I care.
I love the way you describe things.
I word things good.
We're on a roll tonight.
Yeah, I really am. Hey, I'm feeling pretty stoked, man. 1 more test to go, and then I've got a final project, and I've got a master's degree. People will have to call me master, just like I'm Show Nuff.
Was that you, Show Nuff?
I am Show Nuff. I'm going to be wearing my kicks and everything. But we're here to talk about The Mandalorian, Chapter 21 of this 3rd season. And I like to go by the chapters, to be honest.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I know it's the cool kid thing to go via season, but this is a story told via chapters. And I really like that. I really enjoy that method of storytelling because even though it's an overarching, season by season story, these episodes can stand on their own if you really, really want to. So I like the
This one
idea that
could,
it's a
definitely.
chapter. This one definitely could. Let's dive right in because there's a lot going on.
Now,
Tonight,
last
on a
week,
very
I
special
told you.
episode of Bo Katan.
Dude, Melinda has been definitely like all day, y'all. All day.
I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. But
She
it's
has-
not
she-
false advertising, though, because she is a Mandalorian.
She truly is. She is a Mandalorian. And I'll tell you what, if anybody is gonna take some of the thunder away from Din Djarin, Bo Katan has earned it. She has earned it. The character has earned it. Katie Sackhoff, the actress, with all that she's dealt with being in Star Wars for the time that she has. And I think at this point, she's among the longest standing to date. Because you figure Ahmed Best was gone for a while. I think the only, because the way I'm looking at it as
You mean
is
non-Skywalker?
a non-Skywalker type, but I mean as far as over the last like 10 years, she's been the longest standing. Because you figure Ewan McGregor has not been portraying Obi-Wan Kenobi all throughout Clone Wars. He's only done him live action. Katie Sackhoff has been doing Bo Katan for every single solitary one of her appearances. It has been Katie Sackhoff. That's what I'm basing it on.
Okay.
So I really and truly feel like she's got a lot invested, and I think that she truly does deserve the fact that she is sort of co-leading now. She's not just like a special guest anymore. She's co-leading.
Let's put a pin in that because we don't want to jump to the end.
Right.
That's where that really comes into play. Let's start right back at the beginning. And last week
let's do
odd
that.
episodes are always bad, even episodes are always good. And so when we opened, I was like, oh, come on. We opened with the whole let's tie in the backstory crap. And I was like,
right.
Really?
But they went through this at a very nice speed. It was not slow.
Yeah, they linked it together really quick, and they brought in. Remember episode 1? I was like, "Why are we here?" Okay, now they tie.
Now we know why we're here. Yeah, which was really, really good. You know what, man? Jon Favreau more and more just proves just how good he is at this. And I'll tell you what, man. Kathleen Kennedy, I think she needs to be sent packing. Let Jon Favreau have this. Let Jon Favreau. Now I posted this on Twitter yesterday. I can't remember off the top of my head the name of the content creator whose Twitter I mentioned, but I said fire Kathleen Kennedy and let Jon Favreau have the reins in full creative control. And he was like, "Oh, Favreau, you're like Kennedy needs to leave. Favreau needs to take a nap." And it's like, I understand the logic of that, but at the same token, Favreau still has to answer to Kennedy. Mm-hmm. And under Kathleen Kennedy's watch now for the last decade, it has been spotty. The best bit of content that Star Wars that we've gotten since the Disney acquisition, in my opinion, is The Bad Batch, the finishing of Rebels, and The Mandalorian.
Speaking of Rebels, we got the cameo. We got Zeb.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring that up too. We're getting Zeb back, which I feel like it makes me very excited that hopefully we are going to get Ezra Bridger in Admiral Thrawn in the Ahsoka series.
They're slowly like teasing us with it. Slowly. I think you're right. And I'm wondering if they're not painting the whole Admiral Thrawn versus Moff Gideon against each other.
That would be
I can see that.
That would be amazing.
I would enjoy that.
And that would definitely be a good way to tie into how the First Order ends up getting established. If you want to talk about a way that not only is it going to sort of legitimize the sequel trilogy, but also make the Rise of Skywalker that much of a freaking just cesspool of what WTF, it'll be the battle of Moff Gideon and Admiral Thrawn and seeing the creation of the First Order.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even mind seeing how we get the Knights of Ren. I would even like to see that. But again, if you do that and you do it well, you further show what just a complete pile the sequel trilogy is. But I digress.
My guess is what they're doing is they're still backdoor piloting.
Yeah.
We're backdoor piloting the Ahsoka series with The Mandalorian.
We are.
And then the Ahsoka series is really going to pick up with that because she was after trying to find Ezra and Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn. I can talk today. At the end of Rebels. And then we saw that teased in season 2 of The Mandalorian that she was still looking for Admiral Thrawn, which means she's looking for Ezra Bridger as well because they disappeared together.
Yes, they were on the same starship, taken off by the space whales.
Mm-hmm.
As silly as that sounds, if you're a Star Wars fan, you realize how silly that isn't.
But they teased that at the beginning of this season too, with Grogu looking out and seeing them in the hyper trails.
And I know they have an official name, but I like to call them space whales.
They're Purrgil, right?
I believe so. But yeah. I like the term space whales. It just feels good. It just feels nice coming off my tongue. Space whales. So what I'm actually very excited for as well is if this is happening, if we are going to see the return of the Admiral and Ezra, then that means we're going to end up getting Sabine back as well, which is going to be awesome. And if we get Sabine, then we have to get Hera back.
Okay, so if we bring Sabine back, this is going back again to what happened at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Why the armor was like, you walk both worlds. Sabine Wren's clan of Mandalorians were a different clan of them.
Yes, they were.
Bo Katan tied them together very well. She was allied with them. She got the Darksaber from Sabine. There's a lot of linking between them.
There's so much happening right now. So much happening. And I think if this is what's being done, if this is happening as we're talking about it, I'm sorry, man. Jon Favreau's a genius. And I feel like we could have been getting this a long time ago, but instead he was playing Happy Hogan in second fiddle to Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland in the MCU. We needed him in Star Wars. Where was he when we got the sequel trilogy? He was in the MCU, being completely misused.
Now, and they can make all of this tie together. They can show us the re-rise of Mandalore alongside of all of this stuff happening with Admiral Thrawn.
Right.
And I'm hoping that's what they're trying to do, because that would really be exciting and would give us a reason to be excited about the Ahsoka series, even though I know some of us are just excited to see what they do. Apprehensively.
That's really where I'm at. I just want to see what they're gonna do because I still haven't watched Andor yet. I'm just the character. I didn't like the character Andor.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't
good.
It's politics.
See, I don't have
a lot
patience.
of the politics.
See, if I want politics, I'll just go to Twitter.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I'll finish watching it.
I haven't even started it, but all right, you know what? I will start it. I will start it, and I will give it 2 episodes. And if I'm not interested, then I just
how many more than 2? Because it's
somebody told me you need at least 3. Like
3?
They're 3 episode arcs.
Yeah.
All right, fine. You know what? For the sake of being a Star Wars completionist, I will watch the series. Might as well. I mean, hey, I sat through episode 1 of the Winchesters.
All right, hold on though. If you're a Star Wars completionist, have you watched the Ewok?
Yes.
Okay. Just had to ask.
Yes.
Had to ask.
Yes, I did.
Now, since we talked about it last week, did you go back and find the game show that Ahmed Best, Keller, and Beck appeared in?
No, I did not. I have not had a chance. I've been studying like the Dickens. So I do have a good excuse.
You have homework now.
I do have homework now, yes. So in this episode, we start to see everything starting to get tied up. We're seeing, we're starting to get a little bit into the politics of, what's going on with Navarro. And it's really, really cool to see Carl Weathers being the politician. It's so cool. Like, he went from beating up Sylvester Stallone to getting killed by freaking Dolph Lundgren to falling out of a window thanks to Adam Sandler to now he's made it. No more getting his arm cut off by aliens. No, 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 no. His last name isn't Skywalker in this universe. And then the pirates return. Not the Pittsburgh Pirates, but the douchebag pirates from episode 1 of this season.
There's a moment where he's so humanized there, where right before he turns on the hologram to talk to the pirate guy, you see him go from like,
yeah, he had to like ready himself.
yeah,
He had to put on his game face. He had to put on the face,
and
which was really cool.
And he did present as a very competent leader.
Yes.
His character has grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
He really has. He's gone from being like that sneaky, conniving nerve herder to an actual leader. Yeah, I'm full of them tonight, man. I'm full of it. I'm full of them tonight. And yeah, he puts on the game face, and of course, the pirate lord, whose name is escaping me at the moment, which sucks.
I want to call him Greenbeard, but I can't remember what his name is.
Dude, he reminds me of a bearded Swamp Thing, man. He really does. Like, he looks like he's gonna be in like Swamp Thing 3.
He's
know,
like
the
Star Wars version of Davy Jones.
There you go. So essentially, he decides. Now, I really like. He's like, oh, you're trying to be this diplomat. Where was that when you fired on my guy when his back was turned? He fired first. Oh, here we go with the Han versus Greedo argument again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mando and you shot first. Homeboy was being a dick, but you shot first. Come on, quit.
It's okay. So it's Gorian Shard. That's the pirate lord.
Gorian Shard. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
He, the actor, also played Zaro Zoan Doxos in Game of Thrones.
Oh. That's where we heard his voice
okay.
from. That's where we got that. I thought his voice sounded kind of familiar. All right. Look at dude, man. See, Melinda just coming in clutch. We could have used you as like our producer when we were still doing the Plotaholics. Yeah. So, long story short, oh wow, dude. And I'll tell you what, man. Nonso and Zoe looks scary. Like, he looks like he would clothesline your head off. That's Gorian Sharp. He literally looks like you're lucky he's the nicest dude in the world, because if he wasn't, he would just run straight through you. He looks like he could play the Juggernaut without CGI. Like, he just looks like he could charge through. If you get a chance, check out Brother's IMDb. Hold on. I'm actually going to share my screen. Where's it at? There we are. Yeah, I don't need to see tips. I mean, look at this guy.
Oh, hold on. We got to fix the banner.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There we are. See, look at this guy. Like, that poor suit. He is pushing the maximum density of that suit with all of his badassery. Like, bruh seriously looks like, yo, that's a bad man right there. He's probably like the nicest dude in the entire planet. Like, sort of like, you know how Michael Clark Duncan looks like he could kill you? He looked like he could kill you if he wanted to, but he's probably like the most gentle guy to ever exist. God rest his soul. That's this dude right here. So essentially, the pirates show up, and they're like, you know what? It's payback time, because if you mess with one pirate, you mess with all of the pirates, not the Pittsburgh Pirates. Anyway, so they're showing up, and Grief Karga calls for aid. He calls for aid from Carson Teva? I say his name wrong all the time. Who intercepts the message. That's where we see Zeb, and Carson decides, he's going to go right. He's going to go right to the boss's office. You can't ignore me if I'm there. And
but he has to go all the way back to Coruscant for that.
Yeah, bro.
Like, out of your way. Just go help yourself.
Right. But he shows up, and of course, Tim Meadows. I did not have Tim Meadows in Star Wars on my bingo card for this corner. I did not. Now, and then he's speaking in his Mr. Glasscock from the Goldbergs voice. I mean, he really sounded like he was playing Mr. Glasscock. Like he really did.
They're really pulling the
They're just pulling.
the New Republic just can't handle shit. Like they're
The
shoving
New
that down our
Republic
throats.
is useless.
Yeah.
The New Republic is so useless, and I'm sorry. What bothers me about this is, do you really believe? Now, I would like to think that Leia Organa Solo is not allowing her government to work like this, but I guess she's handling the big stuff, and she's got to delegate.
She got smear campaigned, though. As soon as it came out that Vader was her dad, she lost a lot of clout. So she's not the only one working in government, but she is still trying.
Right. And I'll tell you what, though, man, I'm sorry. Like, I love Tim Meadows. He's so funny. But I guess the reason he's there for good a reason. He's showing up with that lackadaisical sort of lazy guy attitude. And that's what they're trying to perceive. The New Republic is just a bunch of big, fat, lazy bureaucrats already. And then, of course, who do we have? Elia Kane pulling the strings.
Seriously, like, you're the last known person to see this guy, the doctor, who we assume is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's doing anything.
Just walking around. You the last one known to see him alive, and we're just gonna, stroll around, do whatever.
It just goes to show how lazy this
They're
we just
shoving it down our throats. They want us to know this is why the First Order rose up. If you needed any clues, these were it.
Talk about being bad at your job. Oh my God. It's almost like these guys have to be like cybersecurity for, like, I don't know, whoever leaked all of our stuff from Equifax that time. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously. Like, this is like literally the worst government. Well, they're right up there with the Ministry of Magic from Harry Potter. They're right up there, man. If not worse.
I appreciate when he was like, "Don't put that on my desk." And then
I
was like, "Oh, I felt that in my soul."
Yeah, where it's just like, just don't do that, and you're doing it anyway. Yep.
And I wouldn't go lazy. I wouldn't call the New Republic lazy. Overburdened, underprepared. And when you're burned out, you just don't have the ability to care as much as you would like to. I think that's the vibe they're really trying to throw at us.
But they're trying
to do the right thing. They're incapable.
Can't. And I think that because they need so many people in place, people are getting promoted that shouldn't be promoted. Well, I'm sorry, Tim Meadows' character, he did not graduate first class from the academy. He couldn't have. Dude has to be a C- student that just barely passed.
How many times have we been told they're decommissioning some of the Alliance as well as the Empire's ships?
True.
You don't decommission your military when you don't have the Jedis, who were actually the ones holding everything together.
Right. The Jedis were the deterrent. The Jedis were the deterrent to anyone that wasn't Republic. The Jedi might have said, the Jedi might have said that they weren't soldiers, but they were a deterrent. They were soldiers and a deterrent.
Yeah.
Don't lie to yourselves. So
they were in charge of keeping the peace.
Right, which is
a broad term.
You're a soldier, okay? You're warrior monks, okay? That's
there you go.
Do. And if y'all actually allowed yourselves to get laid every now and again, your most powerful member probably wouldn't have obliterated you.
I know, right? Okay, but remember, there was no marriage in the Jedi Order. They never did say they had to be celibate, so maybe they were.
Dude, I'm sorry. This is going to sound really, really bad to say, but if I was in the Jedi Order, I would be using that to get so much tail in the galaxy. I would be the cat.
Now that's the dark side. That's the dark side.
All surprised that you would say that.
Hey, listen. I would so be the captain.
Everybody.
I would so be the Captain Kirk of a galaxy far, far away if I were a Jedi. I really would. I'd just be like, hey, want to see my lightsaber? Zzz. What'd you think I was talking about? Naughty.
No, you're the Star Lord. If you had a black light in here, it'd light up like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Oh,
Yeah. As soon as I turn off all the lights and ignite my lightsaber, just be like, whoa.
damn.
I have to do
thank
something
you.
about this. Anybody got that industrial Formula 409? Because I got a problem. But, I mean, I'm not saying that I would use the Jedi mind trick. That's just rude and wrong on
You know
so
you
many
would.
levels. I would not use the Jedi mind trick to get laid. Well, no, I would not. No. That would be a flagrant misuse of power, and it would be the same thing as roofing, and I am against that. I'm against it. But I would use the Force to help with my prowess.
Wow.
I would use the Force to sort of help, sort of like in Bruce Almighty when him and Jennifer Aniston, he's like pleasurable. That would be me. I would be doing that. Yep.
All right, we are way off topic now.
We have gone
Yeah,
so
we
beyond off topic.
NSFW sticker right on the front.
Yeah.
Not today, kids.
This is why Bryan should never ever have mystical powers, because he would probably misuse them, not for evil, but
For real good.
for real good. The Force is my shepherd, it knows what I want. Anyway, so when Carson realizes that the New Republic isn't going to do absolutely anything, he decides that he's going to call in a chit. So he shows up to the Mandalorians, and he basically lets Din Djarin know, hey, your man's in trouble. You might want to go help him out. Knowing that Din Djarin has to go. He is honor bound to go and help his friend. But I really like how he did it. Hey, listen, if I would have let y'all know I was coming, you would have shot me out. You would have been gone before I hit the atmosphere, or you would have shot me out the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he's letting them know, look, this is your world, literally. I come in peace. I like how he was like, hey, I guess Paz Vizsla sort of brings that out of you. When you see a big 7-foot tall dude that's the size of a redwood tree's trunk, carrying a minigun, you better be on your best damn behavior, because homeboy gonna mess you up.
Which, of course, is why it's when he gets up to talk that the rest of them listen.
Yeah, and you want to talk about a guy who's really, he went from being like just this quiet, stoic figure in the background in season 1 to now he's really coming into his own. And it might be the armor Din Djarin and the armor and Bo Katan in charge-ish. But Paz Vizsla and is definitely like in that upper echelon as well.
Are Paz Vizsla and the armorer the mom and dad of Ragnar? Because they both have that authoritarian role within the community. And
it wouldn't surprise me.
The armorer's tone changed dramatically.
When it came to Paz Vizsla's kid, yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. They've done a good job at keeping her so mysterious. But I love the fact that they're a matriarchal society. I like that. Well, they're not so much matriarchal, but it's not the patriarchal bullshit that we tend to get in tribes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like the fact that we have a woman in charge, and I like the fact that the armor got to whoop some ass this episode.
Yes,
I love watching her work.
Oh my god, yes, it was so good, and she didn't use a blaster; she used her tools.
Yeah.
But so Din Djarin brings it up to the Mandalorians. You know, look, this is what we got to do. Blah blah blah. I'm gonna go. I know I don't have the right to ask this of you, but in Paz Vizsla, he came up and he's talking, and I'm like, Paz, don't be a dick.
I knew what they were doing the second he started that. I was like, just get to it. Come on.
Yeah, but I kind of like how he set it up. I like how he set it up because it was almost like, you know how when you want to get those people that you know are just going to be yes men, and you want to get them out of the comfort zone of, yeah, I don't want to do this. I'm on his side.
And and also the people who are going to naturally go fuck no to everything. You
Right.
got them going, right, yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
Got me. And that's exactly what he did. And I love the fact that he brought up Bo Katan Kryze. She did not give up on my son, even when I did. So I'm fighting for them. And I'm like, word. And I love how he said, why will we risk our lives? Because we're Mandalorians. And it's like, yeah, that's what y'all do. Y'all are y'all fought the Jedi and damn near won. The only reason why you lost is because Revan decided to go straight scorched earth. He went straight scorched not Malachar. I can't remember the name of the planet now, but I know it's 5.
Malachor.
Malachor 5. He went straight scorched Malachor 5. That's the only reason why the Jedi won that war. That's the only, because the Republic were getting squashed. Yo, the Mandalorians are bad. You don't want to mess with the Mandalorians. And if you do, it is not going to be a good look for you. You're screwed. Why do you think after the freaking Jedi, Palpatine pulled what he pulled on Mandalore? Because he knew they were the next threat.
Mm-hmm. They had sway over 1,000 different systems.
Yes. The Mandalorians, even in time, even as pacifists, brought fear to the heart of one of the most dangerous Sith Lords since Darth Nihilus. Okay? Don't get it twisted. The reason why there's so few Mandalorians is because they were taken out quick. Well, not quick, but they were taken out.
They should have just let the Mandalorians continue fighting each other. They would have been too busy to involve themselves in. But that's not what happened. Anyways, so moving on though, speaking of fighting for a home, that was part of Din Djarin's suggestion is if we do this, we will have a place to call our own. And that's a good incentive to get everybody riled up to fight.
Right, because he said, this guy has already offered me land. So if we go and do this, hey, the kids can go outside and play. Ain't got to get worried about getting snatched up by pterodactyls.
Yeah.
And that's important. Kids need sunshine, even if they're covered head to toe in Mandalorian armor.
Hey, the sun can't ever touch your skin, but go outside and play.
That's right.
I wonder if they cooked those little pterodactyls yet, or are they going to actually raise them?
No, they're going to raise them. You're going to see them again, guaranteed.
So basically, we're going to have Khaleesi-Lorians just flying everywhere with little pterodactyls.
No, it's gonna be Grogu that does that, because Grogu's already ridden a Rancor.
That's true.
He's working his way up the chain.
Dude, how are you barely a foot tall and you've ridden a Rancor? Come on. So anyway, so they show up and they got their plan. Mando has become the distraction. And I love how he shows up and Grief is like, the odds are against you 10-1. I like them odds. I love the little callbacks to Star Wars. First Han is never tell me the odds. Now people like the odds. I love it. And I'll tell you what, man, when the Mandalorian foot soldiers, when they hit ground, it's like, ooh, that ass whooping coming, son. That ass whooping coming. And we got to see now, the one thing that I do like about the Mandalorians is that they don't portray them as this unstoppable force. They didn't have it easy, but they didn't care. They went in and they were fighting and they were getting the job done. And it was on point. I loved it. And we got to see the armor whoop some ass, which was beautiful. It was so good to see. And I tell you what, man, Emily Swallow, I really hope that she did her own stunts in this, because that looked good. That looked jam good.
Speaking of the stunts, the stunt fighting, with Mandalorian Din Djarin and Bo Katan, their coordination with the ships.
Yes.
That was so much fun to watch, especially when you had the pirate guy going, he's on your left, destroyed. He's on your right, destroyed. He's under you, destroyed. Like, oh.
And I like that. Hey, it's been great serving under you, Captain.
He's out.
Dude, he did about deuce out like real quick. He's like, look, man, I know a losing situation when I see it. Deuces.
Yep.
Can you
And
blame him?
they took that ship down. It was beautiful to watch. The coordination, the way that they pulled everything off. And then of course, you know, the hubris of the pirate. He's like,
Right.
"Oh, no, we're gonna do this." You're dead, dude. You're dead.
All right, hey
Watch
man.
and enjoy.
Yeah. So you sure you want to down this hill? Okay.
There's
That's
the kill.
it's almost like in a Robin Hood Prince of the Men in Tights, where he's like, "Hey, Robin, fire this arrow at my eye." Okay, goodbye. And he took him out. And so
It
and then
was beautiful. It was
really
so beautiful
was.
to watch.
It really was. It was good to see the Mandalorians again working as a cohesive unit. I think another thing that I'm really appreciating in this season is that it's no longer Din Djarin working alone. The Mandalorians are working as a cohesive unit, which is what makes them very dangerous because they work together so well. And then, the Mandalorians save the day. Grief Karga basically says, from here to here is yours. Welcome home. You may not have a home planet, but you now have a home. And I love how all the Mandalorians are just like, that's the Mandalorian way right there. It's like, you know what? I bet you they're probably so freaking happy just to be appreciated and have a home to call their own. But it's like, you know what? Gotta stay chill. So,
and now turning it back though, that was their home before, but they were living in the sewers.
Right.
And so what's the next scene? The armorer is asking for Bo Katan to come down to the sewers where the old forge was. Right. And then asks her the one thing you would never expect her to ask.
Take off your helmet. And Bo Katan's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You don't need to see her face to see that body language of, whoa, what?
Right, because Bo Katan is bought into this now. She is buying into this. This is all she's got. Her home has been destroyed. She's got nothing left. She is invested in these people. And then the armor just goes, do you respect my station? Yeah, well then take off your helmet. Okay. And that's where she says, you walk both worlds. You're going to unite us because you've seen the mythosaur. And I know this is where Melinda is saying, it's the Bo Katan show. And I'll tell you what, in a lot of ways, and I said it already, and I'll say it again. If there's any other Mandalorian that has earned the right to share billing with Din Djarin, it's Bo Katan Kryze, in my opinion. Because this character has been through so much growth. I think among the only other characters that we've grown up with have been Obi-Wan Kenobi from Padawan to Master to Hermit to Force Ghost. Luke Skywalker from whiny-ass little farm kid. I was going to go to Tachi Station and get some power converters. To cantankerous Jedi Master. Anakin Skywalker from slave kid to awkward slave kid to whiny emo teenager to badass Jedi Knight to destroyer of the Jedi Order to feeble crusty old white guy that throws the other feeble crusty old white guy down a mine shaft. We have seen Bo Katan. Yeah. A space ghost. Oh, Tad. But we've watched Bo Katan grow up and go from being a terrorist to a bounty hunter to now she's fighting for something. And now she's being tasked with bringing her people together, which is what her family was supposed to do anyway.
And the look of horror on her face. Like, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to try again. She doesn't want to be the one who has to wear the mantle of responsibility. I mean, you could see it. Her eyes were watering.
She's terrified at the prospect, but this time it's different because it's not her doing it alone. She knows that she has a tribe with her. She has a group. She's not alone anymore trying to do this. It's not like she's self-appointed, and I think that's what makes it all the different.
Mm-hmm.
is that before she was this self-appointed, I'm going to bring all the Mandalorians together. Whatever. I have been sent by the armorer. This is the way.
Now, she gets to be helmetless.
Yeah.
That's huge. And you could see that look between Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin, like, the hell?
Yeah, they don't get it. Like, they're like, huh? And poor Grogu, he just got a mom, and now she's got to go away to work.
I think you're gonna find Mando goes with her, and that means that Grogu's gonna go too. I don't think she's taken off by herself. I think she and Din have created a bond,
You
and
can't
they're
break
gonna
that
work
up.
best together.
I think so, and I think them doing this is because that's what's going to lead us to the overarch. Because one thing that I've read is that, well, who's the big bad? Who's the big bad? Well, number one, we know it's going to be Moff Gideon. Anyone that's paying attention should know it's going to be Moff Gideon because he never made it to the New Republic. Now, that's where I'll say that the New Republic is lazy. I'm sorry. You've got one of the most dangerous high ups of the old empire, and he's just gone. No investigation, no nothing. And then you're keeping it quiet to hide your incompetence. That's where I've got a problem.
Now, here's a question though. That bit that they focused on at the end
Yes.
of the Beskar.
Yes.
That it's like they're trying to paint the Mandalorians at fault, which that's a really cheap way of creating drama.
Yes, I agree.
But I'm wondering if there's something bigger with that.
I think that it could be. I think what it could be is Moff Gideon had the Darksaber. I think that there was probably a small tribe that he commissioned that broke him out because he had the Darksaber. That's what I'm thinking.
But Mandalorians won't waste Beskar. They can't go back and get more right now, or at least most of them think they can't get more.
We also know they had Beskar, because what's his name back in season 1 was when he got Din to go look for Grogu, was like, here's all this Beskar.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
It was like a plant.
Right. So I think that perhaps Gideon, I don't think it's Mandalorians. The only reason why they think it's Mandalorians because everyone knows that Mandalorians use Beskar.
But Mandalorians wouldn't waste Beskar. They wouldn't leave scraps behind because they use it.
Correct. So I think that it's probably something involved with from all the way back in season 1. I think this is going to be a callback to season 1, Melinda. I think you're absolutely right. And it's going to be interesting to see. Like this and the Bad Batch is the most interested and invested in Star Wars that I've been in a while. And I mean, I'm a little bit behind on the Bad Batch right now, but I'm catching up. But I'll tell you what, this, at least live action wise, this is as interested in Star Wars as I've been since Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I was excited for Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we did have our moments with it, but let's be real. That show could have been a hell of a lot better. Literally, the only real bit of excitement for that show was the fact that Hayden Christensen was Vader again. That was it. And once that novelty wore off, it's like, so where's my story? Oh.
We should be doing the Bad Batch as well. We're talking about Tann Talks episodes because this season is pretty good.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think the Bad Batch is probably one of the most underappreciated bits of Star Wars IP right now. Yeah. And I think that's what continues to make it great.
Rebels was the same way too, though.
Yeah, Rebels didn't get a lot of appreciation until it was over. Same with the Clone Wars. Clone Wars, Rebels, and Bad Batch are three of those are just masterpieces. What the EU novels, specifically the Yuzon Vong series, were to the written word of the Star Wars IP is what those three shows are to the animated. And I think Star Wars is starting to fall into what I think is the DC issue. DC cannot do a good, consistent job with live action. But when it's animated, oh man, it is on point.
Mm.
And that's what's happening with Star Wars. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what they need to do. But The live action needs to catch up to the animated. That's for sure. So that's about it. That was this episode. I'll tell you what, this episode definitely, and I'll agree with Katie. This episode definitely breaks the odd numbered episodes are crap.
Watch next week's gonna be bad.
Oh my god, next week is
Don't
gonna be
jinx it.
yeah, please. I hope it's not a dumpster fire, because I'll tell you what, this is an episode you can really build on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look at the first couple episodes of this season and say it started shaky but ended beautifully. And yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I think that it's, if I'm gonna, and I'll save, actually, you know what, I'm gonna save this thought for our review. But real quick, Melinda, you know, what are some of your thoughts moving forward? What are you looking at? What do you hope to see next week? What do you hope to see with the season finale?
I know we're heading towards Moff Gideon, but part of me is kind of hoping that that's still a red herring, and that we're going to get a surprise, and it's not going to be Gideon, that it'll be Thrawn. I've really dug the character of Thrawn for a real long time. I mean, I was in the 501st 15 years ago, 16 years ago. Shout out to the Empire City Garrison, 501st Legion. My homies up there on Long Island. And when I met my husband, he wanted to do a Thrawn costume, and that was before we really had Thrawn.
Right.
Was like anyone really knew him outside of, you know, hardcore Star Wars nerds. And so yeah, I'm hoping for that. I have a different kind of opinion on this season as a whole, just because I don't have the background that both of you have in. I mean, I have it in Star Wars, right? I've been a Star Wars fan for forever, but I haven't watched the animated stuff. So some of that stuff doesn't hit me the same way it hits you guys.
Right. Understandable.
So I think I see it a little differently than both of you guys, because I'm not looking for a payoff, pulling things in from other IPs within the Star Wars as a whole.
Right.
I'm more looking at it as isolated. Could this stand? Could I watch this knowing nothing else about any of the animated series? And I think for the most part at this point, the answer is yes. But there's some stuff that just doesn't connect for you like it connects for y'all.
Well, yeah, because I mean, when Zeb showed up for you, you're like, hey, another alien. Yeah, it's another alien. Us, it's like.
Right. And I mean, go back, 4 episodes, 5 episodes, and you guys are like, oh, Bo Katan. And I'm like, who is this bitch?
Who is this red-headed monster?
Yeah, like I'm like, why is Starbuck in Mandalorian? I don't understand.
Starbuck, yeah, that was one of my favorite.
I didn't like Battlestar Galactica. Am I going to start hating Mandalorian because she's in there now? You know.
No.
All right. I know this is off topic, but when I was trying to find sci-fi to watch, my husband's a big sci-fi guy. He loves Galactica, loves it. And he's like, you gotta give it a shot.
Watched it. I used to watch the original.
He watched the original too. And he made me sit and watch I don't know, the first episode, or if it's like the movie before the show, whatever, it's like an hour long.
Yeah.
I fell asleep about 30 minutes in, and it was just not my jam. I'm more of a popcorn sci-fi. Give me Stargate any day. That's what we should do. Let's do Stargate.
What about the Fargate? Don't you
I love Stargate.
No, Fargate. Do you want to get sued?
So yeah.
You know what? I've never watched Stargate either, because I saw MacGyver was in it. I saw MacGyver in it, and I'm like, oh wait. So what is he gonna get? Like a shoe, a paperclip, and a freaking ion collider, and make a fake black hole?
All right. So hold on, Katie. Have you ever watched Stargate?
I've watched some of the early stuff, and I watched the movie.
Okay, I have binged all of it. I've watched all of the universe, comics, Atlantis, the movies, all of it.
Damn.
But so you want to talk about MacGyver? There's, and this is way off topic. There's an episode where he's stuck on an ice planet with one of the other characters, and the gag reel for that is she's like, "Come on, You're on MacGyver. We've got paper clips and belts. I'm stuck on an iceberg with MacGyver. And they actually make that joke.
That's
in
awesome.
the gag reel for that.
Poor Richard Dean Anderson. Can you imagine when he started doing MacGyver? He would go out on dates, and some of the women would be like, "You know what? I have a rubber glove. I have a paper towel roll, and I have a battery to a camping flashlight. Make me the best vibrator possible." And he's like, "I'm not the real Angus MacGyver."
No, it's honestly Stargate is fantastic, but again, that's the only reason I know that she was Starbucks, because I tried and it's just not my.
I was about to say, what was Katie Sackhoff in like a Starbucks commercial, and you don't drink Starbucks coffee? Is that why you hate her?
Starbucks in Galactica, and
I love her in that role.
I love Farscape. That's another popcorn sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi if it takes itself too seriously, which Galactica does, and
so do you not like The Expanse?
I want to say we watched an episode of that, and I couldn't get into it. Ron watched it though. I just couldn't get into it.
I think I stopped on season 3. They went through that gate after dealing with the proto-molecule, and so now they're getting to know this new planet or something. I was on another podcast. I was with the How Are You Now podcast. The folks over there, shout out to Dean, Tiara, and Damon over there on How Are You Now. But they were doing a podcast called Disputed, where advocates would argue for particular characters, and if they got into a fight. And I was advocating for Beatrix Kiddo, and it was Beatrix Kiddo versus what was the name of the character? The big tough guy. What his name is? Amos. And I got so into watching it that I was getting into Amos, and I think I was accidentally advocating for Amos instead of for Beatrix Kiddo.
I will say this, Katie. I know you like Star Trek. I really dig Discovery. Sorry, my daughter's phone is. There we go. I really dig Discovery, and I like Discovery because I like Sonequa Martin Green. So she was Sasha in The Walking Dead, and she really did Discovery. And
I'm afraid to watch that because I didn't like Sasha in The Walking Dead.
I didn't really like Sasha either, but I like the actress. And then I fell in love with the doctor and the head engineer.
See, I wish I would have had a chance
love them.
to keep
So
watching.
I'm in the minority, but I hated Discovery.
I really dug Discovery.
But I love Strange New Worlds. That, I think they did the best job of blending the original series appeal, the Monster of the Week feel, but with a charismatic modern cast.
See, I watched Picard too, part of season 2.
You get that one dark. It's dark. Try Strange New Worlds.
I fell asleep during Wrath of Khan. Like it's not.
Oh!
Not the old one.
Give it a try.
It's a informative movie. You have to watch this. It's fantastic. And he's just gushing. And I'm like, okay. And about an hour in, he looks over. I'm out. Like, it's just.
So all the modern Star Treks have been so super dark. I'm not just talking in tone, but in like the feel of the plot. Strange New Worlds is like the breath of rainbow fresh air. It is bright. It is colorful. The cast is funny. There's charisma. And there's a Monster of the Week, which I prefer Monster of the Week to the long episodic series.
Oh, see, then Bryan's out because that's why he hated the first season of Supernatural. He hates Monster of the Week.
I can't stand Monster of the Week. I don't know why. Like, because
there's stuff that links everybody together, but I like the freshness of it.
Right.
I mean, I get it. It's just it feels so lazy to me. It really does. Like, but we're talking about Star Trek now, and
we're way off topic.
Yeah,
I'm a mute. I'm about to. All right, I know we're live. My son is army crawling in to get his stuff.
Nice.
Way to crawl there, little shaver.
Famous.
We need to like do a debate and like we each watch something that the other ones say they don't like, and then come on and do a show about it.
Hey, I'm all for that, man. I'm all for doing stuff like I'm all for doing that, like doing the stuff that makes this fun and interesting. I'm all for it, man.
Yeah, the
Fun,
reviews are great. I love our side conversations. That's my favorite part of doing this podcast.
I agree. I like I like talking about the actual topics, but I do like talking about just the whatever the hell too. The whatever the hell is fun.
And we
It's a lot.
don't
It's
all
nerds
have the
getting-
same opinion, which is good.
and it's
Yeah.
nerds getting together, talking nerdy stuff, and a lot of that got shut down when things shut down and never came back. So this is fun.
I agree, 100%. So let's bring in bartender Smiley because I'm also trying to get my password to
Brian's all
Paramount
business.
Plus.
Let's bring him in.
Well, no, because I have to change because I wanted to tell you guys because because Katie and I were talking about this a couple of months ago about me finally giving Star Trek a real try. And I started watching the old series because I have to be a completionist.
Which one? Next gen or
No, I'm talking about going to the original
like the OG?
Kirk and then go to Next
No.
Generation.
No, you can't do that.
Why
If you were
not?
of that generation, you can do that. You got to start more modern. I'll
Well,
give you
then
TNG, I'll give you Voyager, I'll give you DS9. You could
That's like
start
Doctor
with
Who.
those.
All
But
right.
you can't go back to the original because that generation was so different and it's going to have a whole different flair.
You know what though? I was really enjoying the OG.
You can always go back and watch them.
I mean,
That's the one with what's his name?
huh?
No, that's next gen.
No, I'm talking the one with Kirk and Spock. I'm talking the 60s.
Yeah.
I went back to the
I really
60s.
like
You
Q,
can't start
so
with
that's why I like
those.
the actor.
I'm on episode 10 right now of the OG. So it's like I feel like I've gotten this far. I might as well finish. But the thing is, I have to go through those 3 seasons and the movies before I can go to the Next Generation. But the thing is that I'll probably bypass that and just go to Next Generation because I was a kid when those came out. So, but I do want to start taking in all the Star Trek lore and stuff and I honestly, I want to start playing the Star Trek video game, but you got to play with people, and there's not a lot of folks that I want to play video games with online. When I'm playing video games, I'm going to play by myself because Sharon and I are watching, we're watching our shows while I'm playing video games.
I saw you playing XCOM before.
Yeah, I've been playing XCOM, all right, before we go to Bartender Smiley, since
Wait,
we're
bring
on the
Bartender
side.
Smiley in. Let's do that. So this way, if people want to tune out because we're bullshitting, then they can tune out.
All right.
The Plotaholics rating system for the movies is a pretty simple system. Basically, they rate movies based on how many shots it takes to get through them. So if you got a good movie and you get through it all the way sober, then it takes 0 shots to get through the movie. And then if you got a really bad movie, then it could take up to 5 shots to get through the whole thing. I think you can try to figure out the middle part yourself. So, what can I get you?
All right. So before we get back into the side conversation, let's give our ratings for Chapter 21, The Pirate of the Mandalorian. Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5. Katie, let's start with you.
I am going with 0 shots. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was glued to my seat watching what they would do next. There was that moment at the beginning where I was like, oh, are they going to do the typical odd-numbered episode thing? But they pushed quickly through it.
Wow, glued to your seat. How did you pee?
I had to hold it.
Fair enough. Or you were wearing rubber drawers. That's fine. All right, Melinda. Oh! All right, Melinda, what about you?
I think probably a 1. I mean, it was kind of a middle of the road episode for me. Like the combat scenes were great. I really dug the armor. I really like her as a character. Yes, I know Bo Katan is a Mandalorian, but I didn't sign up for the Bo Katan show. I signed up for the Din Djarin and Baby Yoda show. So for me, we'll get there, and this just wasn't the best episode. I kind of felt the same way about this episode as I did a lot of the previous ones, where I'm like, we're getting somewhere. We got to wade through all the crap to get there.
Okay. I have to give this. I have to give this. I kind of have to give this a 0 shot as well. Well, more a 1. I have to give it a 0 shot, but I had to have a beer. I'm like the
You
New
can't
Republic.
change the rating system,
Half a
sir.
shot.
I'm not changing. You know what? I'm gonna give it 1 shot, 1 full shot, because the New Republic stuff just it wasn't fun for me. I feel like it really slowed it down. As much as I love Tim Meadows, I think Tim Meadows is absolutely hilarious. But when he's on screen, first thing I'm hearing is "Get out of here, Dickie! Get out of here, Dewey! You don't want to have any of this." Or, "Yeah, Jake. What do you mean? I may be a cannibal, but I'm very considerate." I'm hearing all of his other characters. Tim Meadows, seeing Tim Meadows in Star Wars is like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and Carrot Top is going to be in Star Wars. It's just weird to see. You know what I mean? And it's nothing against Tim Meadows. It's just, hey, we just had Ahmed Best show up. He's a badass. And here's Tim Meadows. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, but as much as I appreciate Elia Kane as a villain, I'm sorry. You could have better secret agents implanted into your fledgling government. You can just look at her and tell she's evil.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, just in my mind, I'm hearing Deadpool. He's evil. Because she is. You can just look at, I was not captured. I was rescued. You
Oh, that
sound
was
like
great. Stepford Wives. Oh my God.
you sound
I
like
was
such a
liberated.
I was liberated. You sound like a fake freaking cult member. Like you sound
Yeah.
like the undercover cop that is not falling into the plans, but you still have to undercover cop. Like,
Yes.
I'm sorry. That sort of almost ground everything to a halt for me. But I mean, I appreciate the character building of Bo Katan. I'm so happy that we got to see the armor whoop some ass and take some names. I'm glad we got to see Zeb and New Republic stuff slowing it down aside. I really feel like I'm excited for what we could get in the future, not just in this series, but in future Star Wars IPs. So we got a 011. We got a 011 here. Woo. So I'm very curious to see how we're going to rate this entire season, because as it stands right now, we've only got 3 episodes left. We've only got 3 episodes left. And next week's episode, we don't have a title as of yet, but this one is directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, which I'm very excited. Bryce Dallas Howard has directed a few episodes of the Mandalorian in the past. And when she's not playing a motionless, soulless dinosaur lady, she's super freaking talented. I'm a big fan of Bryce
She's
Dallas.
got a good creative eye.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that she got a lot from her dad. Thankfully, not his looks, because wow. I'm sorry, Richie Cunningham and his big brother. I love them to death. I love Clint and Ron Howard so much, but
Dang.
they are not the handsomest dudes in the world. Like, like what attracts people to them is the fact that they are freaking hilarious and like such amazing talents. Wow. I have never backdoor complimented someone with an insult like that. And because dude, Ron,
We're just silently letting you go. Just keep talking, Bryan.
yeah,
Keep talking.
yeah, just let me
Get
keep
him
digging
hungry, or
myself.
we'll just
Let me just keep digging myself a hole, and then all the Ron Howard and Clint Howard fans will like
it's gonna
completely
come for you.
they will completely cancel me, and then it'll be Tann Talks with Katie Salidas and Melinda D. It'll go from being Tann Talks to Satisfied. But no. In all seriousness, I'm very, very excited to see what Bryce Dallas Howard brings to the table, because, like I said, the episodes that she has directed have been some really, really good ones. Real quick, let me take a quick check. Oh, I didn't realize I was older than her. I didn't realize I was as much older than her as I am. I mean, let's see here. Now they've got her filmography, but they don't have any of her directorials. Oh wow, she narrated an audiobook. Let's see, for television. Wow, apparently she voiced Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi.
Hey, we got a commenter.
Holy crap! Doesn't count though, it's your husband.
Hey.
I'm kidding. Thoughts on if we see Grand Admiral Thrawn by the end of the season?
People to interact with us. I
appreciate
somebody to get on and interact with us. Okay.
I appreciate that. Honestly, I think the chances of us seeing Grand Admiral Thrawn, I think it's good. If we don't see him at the end of this season, we are going to see him in Ahsoka.
We're gonna get Blueface fade to black.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did either of you play Final Fantasy VII?
Yes.
Okay.
I've beaten Final Fantasy VII,
so
the original.
Scene right before Rufus bites it, and the camera just pans across his just face and eyes, and it like pans out. That's what I want. Blue face, red eyes, and boom, black.
Yep.
That's what we're gonna get.
Now
absolutely.
That brings up something else. Have you guys noticed on the intro? You know how they do all the red and black lighting over the different silhouettes?
I hadn't noticed.
There's a blue silhouette over Bo Katan's helmet, and there's a red silhouette over a Mandalorian helmet that was added recently.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
So pay attention to that next time they do, or next time you watch it and see the intro, because I'm wondering what that's hinting at. Some antagonistic Mandalorian we've yet to see.
That's a good
Or
call.
Is that more of the Moff Gideon clues?
All right, so I have here in front of me, Bryce Dallas Howard has directed chapters 4, titled Sanctuary, chapter 11, titled The Heiress, and then the upcoming episode, chapter 22. She also directed an episode of Book of Boba Fett, chapter 5, Return of the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So she's directed some really, really good episodes.
That counts as a Mandalorian episode.
Yeah, it really does. So basically she's done 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes of The Mandalorian. And she voiced Yaddle. So
And to the question about Admiral Thrawn, they're teasing Moff Gideon so hard.
Yeah.
If we do get the Thrawn connection, it will just be blue face, fade to black.
Yeah.
I think if we get Thrawn, what if we think we're getting Gideon? Gideon is shot and killed.
I will be
and
happy
then
as hell.
when the camera, the only reason why that would irk me, the only reason is because you've wasted Giancarlo Esposito. That's the only reason.
But we're going to get him back in The Boys. So.
True.
The prequel or whatever. Isn't he going to be in that?
Well, I know he's in. Well, his character survived that last season, so he's going to be involved in it anyway.
Yeah, but isn't he going to be in Generation V?
Probably. I don't care, man. You know what, Giancarlo Esposito.
We're gonna do that, right? Like we're gonna do.
Well, we're gonna do The Boys. Yeah,
Okay.
we're definitely doing The Boys.
Did you watch The Boys, or is that going to be a Tann?
I have got to catch up on it. I watched the first season and then kind of trickled off.
All right.
Okay, the last season with Jensen Ackles. Good Lord, there were at the end of every episode. I went, it can't get worse, right? It was like Last of Us. It can't get any worse, right?
And then it did.
And then it did. And then you're like, oh shit, it can't get any worse than this.
The fact that you had Ant-Man, you had their version of
No. Don't say nothing.
Okay. You know what I'm talking about, though.
I do. And I remember very distinctly sitting on the couch, and my brother was living with us at the time, and he's sitting there watching it, and I'm watching it, and my husband watching it, and that scene happened. We were all like, oh shit. And we were all in disbelief.
Yeah. I'm also curious about I'm excited also talking about stuff that's upcoming. Ahsoka definitely has my attention because we're definitely gonna have Grand Admiral Thrawn in that. I'm also excited for season 2 of Invincible. Invincible really I was not familiar with the comic. And then when I watched the series on Amazon Prime, it's really, really good. Stephen Yeun, who Glenn from The Walking Dead, is in it, and J.K. Simmons plays his father. J.K. Simmons basically plays a Superman-like character, and Invincible is his son, and it turns out that he has the same powers as his father for the most. And it turns out, though, Superman with a twist, he's a bad guy, pretending to be a good guy. So son has to fight. Yeah. Matter of fact, if you know what, I'll tell you what, I got some serious Brightburn vibes watching the end of the first season of Invincible. If you've never seen Brightburn, definitely watch it. I really enjoyed that movie. I kind of wish that movie would have gotten a sequel because it would have been great. I'll tell you what, Brightburn, I could see that being a prequel for the boys as well. Like, instead of Huey's girlfriend getting run over by the Black Flash, I could see them coming together because child Superman has just started killing everything. So, yeah. And there was something else.
Excited about the new Walking Dead spin-offs too. Everyone's kind of Walking Dead it out, and I'm like, oh no, I'm interested to see where they take it.
You're just happy because you're going to get more Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's right.
Quit bullshitting. It ain't the show. It's the guy.
That one you won't get me to watch.
What's that?
And
Katie?
I get Andrew Lincoln.
Give me to watch.
I'll tell you what, man. See, I'll tell you what, man. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to be coming. I'm really happy that we should do Picard season 3.
I'm caught up on that one.
Yeah, I told you, Katie.
I've never watched it. I haven't watched any of Picard.
Like I said, the modern versions of the Star Trek shows are all darker in not only tone, but in the way that they're presented. And Picard falls into that darker tone scheme, which, because I've watched Star Trek, I was raised on Star Trek, literally. I have to watch everything, and I have to be caught up. But I really appreciated Strange New Worlds and their breath of fresh air take on everything instead of what we're being offered everywhere else. Lower Decks is another example of that.
So Picard season 3 is on par with the Next Generation season 8? Is that the or is it better?
No, I think he's saying it is. Was there a season 8 in Next Gen?
I don't think so.
So
I mean, we're talking 30 years after the fact. I mean, it is bringing back all the cast in different ways. So, I mean, I guess, yeah.
If I'm getting more, there was no season 8.
Picard season 3 is season 8
but tonally, Next Generation was the bright, fresh, happy, colorful version of Star Trek versus what it is now. It's like
except when Picard was yelling at Wesley. Except when Picard was yelling. Dude, Picard was such a dick to Wesley. I'm surprised Wesley didn't just walk onto the bridge with a phaser and shoot him.
See, this isn't a conversation I can join. Like I said, I only watched Discovery, and
yeah, it is a reunion show. They got the whole cast back together, except for Wesley, and Wesley will not be in this. They've confirmed that.
Well, and you can't really blame Will Wheaton, though. Will Wheaton really went through a lot with the fandom. I think, isn't it something to do with the fandom that he's just kind of stepping away?
No, he actually was in the last season as a cameo at the end, and he does the Ready Room every week where he basically interviews them all. So he's still involved.
So why isn't he in it?
He's not in the show proper.
Well, that sucks. Because I love, dude, you give me more Will Wheaton and some more LeVar Burton.
Oh, you got LeVar Burton. You got LeVar Burton in this season.
Okay. I'll tell you what, though. It's hard for me to see LeVar Burton now without picturing Donald Glover singing and crying in the bathroom, singing the Reading Rainbow theme in the bathroom.
That's so sad.
I really felt bad for him in that episode. But so real quick, because I don't want, because we've been going for a while, and we could talk about.
Oh yeah, we're way over.
We're way over.
Well, we were on par for the episode. Now we're just nerds bullshitting.
Pacifist Worf, I can't deal with that.
Okay, only in name. He's not pacifist at all.
Okay, good.
He calls himself a pacifist, but he's absolutely not a pacifist.
Yeah, sure. If by pacifist you mean you rip off the big toe of your enemies and suck on it like a pacifier.
Really good scenes. He had some really good scenes early on in the season.
Although I can't see Michael Dorn is worth the same again when I can't remember what movie it was in, but he was like, he had like a lover. He had a gay lover, and they were like really hamming it up. Beheadings are on
Wednesdays. Yes.
Hey, I'm on board. Hey, I'm on point with it. Hey, can I volunteer some people for the
The
guillotine?
banter between those two in this season has been beautiful. I would love to see more of that. Oh,
I'll tell you what though, Michael Dorn, all kidding and joking around aside, Michael Dorn as Worf really, for me, was among the best parts of Star Trek: The Next Generation. He really was. I loved his character. I like how he was sort of the antithesis of everyone else. He was so much fun. And as you know, I'm made that stupid joke about not being able to take Michael Dorn seriously as Worf after, character he played in the movie. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that these guys, that they're getting the chance to do that season 8 of The Next Generation. They're getting this big old sort of reunion as they're coming to a close with it. And it's got to be awesome for Sir Patrick Stewart, as he's getting on in years, because this guy really started hitting the scene hard in his 50s. And now he's getting up there in years. He's probably ready to start winding down. So he's starting to get this with his buddies. So it's good to see.
Well, y'all, this chat, if nothing else, should tell you that if you ever decide to do Star Trek, you're just going to have to go with a different Demicky.
yep. Clearly, we have a Star Trek fan in the audience.
Not this one.
And you know what? I'll go toe to toe with him because
Melinda,
I would pay to see that. I will. You'll have to make a 4-box, and it'll just be me eating popcorn, watching you two go at it.
Same here. I'm just going to be here like.
Yep.
Look, I was like 10 years old in full Next Generation costume, going to conventions with my mother, sitting in the front row while all of these TNG actors are sitting there answering questions. Like that was me growing up.
You lived Galaxy Quest.
I grew up on this. I'm equal opportunity though, because I like Star Trek and Star Wars and a lot of the other IPs that are out there. But yeah, I would not know Star Trek. I have to
see. Meanwhile, Katie and Ron are talking about it. I'm just like, I watched Wrath of Khan when I was a kid, and that's all. Yeah, and that's literally all. That's literally all I would be able to contribute. It creeped me out when he pulled those little things out of that thing's back and put it in the guy's ear from Terminator that time. All right, so we're way over. We're gonna nerd it up and talk about more stuff after. Like, share, subscribe. You know what? Maybe, just maybe, what I'll do is when we start doing this, I'll find a way to convert it to audio and upload it for the podcast, so you can just hear us nerd about whatever the hell we talk about. But with that being said, come up here on the Plotaholics podcast YouTube channel, where Mondays and Thursdays we're nerding it up. Right now. Melinda and I are talking the Winchesters season 1. We're going to be doing episode 2 on Monday. And then I have not watched it yet.
Okay,
no. I'm probably going to watch it Saturday or Sunday.
Okay.
And then the three of us will be back together next Thursday talking the next chapter 22 of The Mandalorian. We're going to be talking that. Who knows? At some point, we'll probably start talking. When we're done with The Mandalorian, we're going to do Firefly. That's going to be fun because I've never watched it before. These two know Firefly. It's very rare that there's something geek culture that I have no reference of. Right now it's Star Trek and Firefly, and right, Katie and Melinda hit me with it.
I know we're going to make him cry.
Yeah, it is.
We're gonna make him
I know
cry.
the parent series does movies, and we don't here on Tann Talks. However, will an exception be made for Serenity, because it is?
Yes.
It's not a TV show, but you need it.
An exception will be made for Serenity because Serenity is a part of the show. I wonder if I could talk Shane into showing up for Tann Talks to talk Serenity.
Well, see, and that's
so the four of us could talk.
We'll have to get a fifth, because I would not know anything about Firefly if it weren't for Ron, who, much like how we got you, is like, wait till you get to season 2. And I'm like, yes. Wait, what? There's no season 2?
See, that's still messing with me, because now I'm going to watch it. and I'm gonna want a season 2, and I won't get one.
That's why you have to watch Serenity, because that was
Katie,
your
we get it.
season 2 substitute.
Do we want him, or do we want to watch it in air order, which is incorrect, or in the order it should have been?
In the order it should have been.
Okay.
All right, so we'll
get it to you. Don't worry.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll take
All
care of
right,
it.
so like, share, subscribe if you want to be nerdy, talk nerdy, and listen. Come into the comments when we're on here live. Nerd talk with us, okay? Look, I'll go on this as long as we have stuff to talk about. And if you're going to sit there and nerd it out with us, then hey, that makes it all the more fun. All right? We're building community here. All right? So like, share, subscribe, tell your fellow nerdy friends of all the nerdy stuff that we nerdily talk about. Hey, leave something nerdy in the comments, and we'll probably, if it really catches our attention, we'll talk about it next time we're on together. But with that being said, I'm Bryan Tann. For Katie Salidas, the Madam Salad Ass herself, and I'm Melinda D. This has been Tann Talks. We'll see you guys on Monday.